Hey everybody, this is Tyson
and Logan,
and you're listening to Dad, Bods, and Beards podcast. It's a show that gives you a fresh look on being a father, a husband, and honestly, a man being in today's world.
For people who want to have a good time, laugh, and be uplifted, thanks for subscribing and listening. Now for the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dad, Bods, and Beards. We have got one that we haven't done in a while, which is just an episode of me and Tyson. We're kind of getting back to the roots of just talking about, trying to go a little bit serious, but we're probably going to end up just laughing, but which I think we need.
I don't know how serious this is going to be.
I think we kind of need this because we've been pretty heavy for a bit, which is very good.
No, I've been, since my master's degree, I've really been heavy.
I knew as soon as I said that you're gonna be like, well, technically I've been overweight since high school.
Like these poor guys.
No, okay, yeah. I think I think we've been really emotionally heavy for a while on the show, which is rightfully so. I mean, and I love those episodes, but I think that we did an event this last week, and one of our buddies, Jeff, who listens to the show religiously, was like, I love all this stuff, but like, we need you guys. So I think every now and then we need to make sure
we gave him a hug.
We gave him a hug. Bought him some chicken strips.
We did.
we went to Raising Cane's. Actually, here's one of my big insecurities is that when I go out to eat with people, I have like such a hard time. Like I feel like I should pay for everybody, but then I'm kind of like I'm trying to secure my financial future. I'm buying just mine.
Let's talk about this before Tommy walked in. What really happened with the chair situation?
What chair situation?
When I got in, when I sat down next to you and the couple beside
me.
So I don't know what they were thinking with these chairs, but there's like a table that's like boosted.
It's like bar height.
Yeah, and so it's really, really high. And then there's a table right next to where I was sitting that was like really low.
And this like young, cute couple was on a date.
Yeah, on a date.
In Provo, Utah. And
then literally like her shoulder is like touching my waist. And
but here's the thing. It would not have been that weird, except you were kind of like, immediately look down at them and was like, is this weird to you guys? It's weird. It's
I just
weird
look at it. I'm like, so tell me about your life.
You're like, is this weird? And the best part is 3 minutes later, they left.
I'm like, do you guys want a French fry?
And I'm like, so I'm like, hey, that was actually a really good tactic to like get people to just like leave.
Yeah. I'm like, hi.
And then in the middle of Provo, Utah, we had 6 full-grown middle-aged men all eating and laughing, and all these like young kids are all around us. So
it's technically how it's been for a while.
Yeah. We're trying to run in a younger crowd to feel better. But no, so today we wanted to talk about something fun. So actually, quick backstory. So Brock, last episode we had on, amazing, by the way. Like, and I'm starting to work with Brock on Monday. I told you that. And we're gonna go real deep and figure out who I am at my nucleus.
Me and my nucleus. Where's that from?
Nacho Libre.
Oh, that's right.
We cannot be friends.
No. The eagle egg was a lie, Stephen. There are no nutrients. There are no special powers.
The eagle egg. But he had you take, when you started working with him, he had you take this personality test.
Yes.
And we've all taken personality tests, but I don't think any of us have ever taken this intense of a personality test.
Understand myself.
It was like over 100 questions. It took like 20 minutes to get through because I read at a 3rd grade level. That's actually an insult to my daughter because my daughter reads really well. So, and then I was curious and I took it, and I'm actually starting with Brock on Monday. And when we started comparing,
well, we really haven't compared a lot.
Well, no, enough.
I haven't read my 38 pages, which shows us our age.
So we're on the way here this morning, and I'm like, oh, hey, can you send me the link again? I can't find it to pull up my test. And he's like, well, I printed mine out, and it's 38 pages. And he's giving me crap about it. And I'm like, well, I have this little device that has endless screens.
But I'm like, it's so small, and I
paid too much money for it. Well, they make these things called tablets, which is basically a phone, but bigger.
Which I have one.
Yeah. It's almost paper size.
It really is. But then I can just do this and leave this right here and leave this. And
then we're going to be sitting here trying to talk about this. I'm like, oh, I found it. And all you're going to hear over the microphone is like all the rustling.
You know what? It works for me.
Okay. So,
I understand myself a little bit better.
Sure. Well, That was a good plug. Which we'll link this for this episode. It's called understandmyself.com.
Oh, did we talk about Mount Ops? Are we
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mountain Ops.
Good stuff.
Buy it. No, I think we'll get more details for them. But yeah, we've got a new sponsor for Dad Bods
It's
and
a
Beards.
legit sponsor.
Legit. Should be getting some contract details back soon. But Trevor Farnes, we had him on a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing guy. Like his episode, I feel like didn't do him justice.
He's very
even though it
humble,
did.
very kind, very genuine.
Like his episode does him justice, but like not even like it doesn't even scratch the surface of like how legitimately authentic that dude is.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be
we're going to be working out every Wednesday with him, and also we're going to be filming content with him. We're going to be on his podcast. He's going to be giving us all these supplements. He's going to put us on their Mountain Ops landing page.
Very involved relationship. So if you follow the Comey link,
lose this. The heaviness,
the weight. Okay, the third time is enough. But no, a very involved relationship. You guys check out the Comey link on our Instagram page and TikTok and whatnot. It'll take you, scroll away to the bottom, and you will see a tab, Our Favorites, and that's where you can see some of the different supplements and things that we're taking from Mountain Ops.
and our before and after pictures.
And what I love the most about and what I love the most about them though is that same thing with Copper Johns is there's not a bunch of like crazy hidden synthetic crappy ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Like it started because Trevor needed to find something to help improve his dad's cardiac health.
You know what's cool?
What?
They have ionic and sea minerals just like I do my beard oil, but they have it in their
It's like a
supplements.
match made in heaven.
It's true. I can't wait to just lose the weight. Sorry.
Anyways, so back
10 hours later.
Yeah. So this comes from understandmyself.com. We'll link it in the Comey page as well. If anybody wants to go take it. It is $9, but it's
$10.
$10. Oh, $9.99. It is so in
after
depth.
tax 10, 15, 10,
Mhm.
just joking.
But after I took this, I read through quite a bit of it. But it's super in depth. When you do it, you got to plan for like 15 minutes. You can do it on your phone. But it talks about the big 5.
Yes, and so I want to go over the scores first.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do.
So let's go over the scores first.
Okay, first.
First.
So
Should we go over the scores first?
It says big 5 factor scores. So basically, this is like obviously it's the big 5.
Yeah, the definition is right underneath them.
You should read it since it's bigger on your paper.
So there's agreeableness, which is compassion and politeness. There's consciousness, which is industriousness and orderliness, if I can talk today. Extroversion, which is enthusiasm and assertiveness. There's neuroticism.
Eroticism.
Neuroticism.
It's early.
Which is withdrawal and validity.
Yeah.
Volatility.
I don't know.
Why the freak can we not talk today?
I don't know.
Openness, which is intellectual and aesthetics. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, let's go one by one. So agreeableness. What'd you get?
71.
I got 11.
Compassion and politeness, which makes sense why when you're on the phone and you like to yell at people.
There was one time that you heard.
That I heard.
No, I try to be. That was like a little bit shocking one to me because I was just like, I feel like I'm agreeable and I feel like I'm polite. And I'm sure if my wife was listening to this episode, she's like, I'm polite. I'm intentionally agreeable and polite.
Well, this is what it says. People low in agreeableness are not so nice. They're stubborn, dominant, harsh, skeptical, competitive, and in extreme, even predatory. However, they tend to be straightforward, even blunt, so you know where you stand.
See, that's what I like about this test is that it gives you like, at first you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible person. But then it also follows it up with like, but here's where some of the positive traits are within there. So I am very like blunt.
And I like that.
And I am very, but at the same time, I feel like that gives me the ability to like kind of stand where I stand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I am intentionally polite out of respect for people. But you've seen this of me. I'm kind of like, but if you light that fuse, you better put a bucket over that firecracker and run. So
it's so true.
But yours is higher.
Yeah, it says
yours 71. That's a pretty high percentage though.
Agreeableness for mine is somewhat forgiving, accepting, flexible, gentle, and patient. They tend to feel pity for those who are excluded, punished, or defeated. They generally feel that people should work cooperatively and somewhat skeptical of competition with its losers and winners. However, moderately agreeable people have to be careful not to be taken advantage of, particularly by disagreeable people, including those with criminal or predatory intent.
So I take advantage of you.
And I have a difficult time engaging in arguments, even avoid discussions with less agreeable people. Which why I think we work so well. That's why I keep saying, Copper John's like, hey, you're just going to tell everyone they're fired when we need to let people go.
Yeah, I'm like, let me do it.
You have said that. I'm like,
But see, this is what I will say though, is this,
but I do know when I'm getting taken advantage of. I really
I flat out told you.
Yeah.
Flat out told you. And we uncovered that with like the affiliate program and other things of like, oh, there's a lot of extra money going out that doesn't need to be going out.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is why we jive so well together. And this is one thing I do want to touch on. We're not going to get really heavy with this, but this is why the first one, really spoke to me when I started doing I can't talk today either. When I started doing this was, it says, as far as agreeableness, it says you are low in agreeableness, which is a primary dimension of interpersonal interaction. Basically, I've talked about this before with bipolar has a tendency to erode your interpersonal relationships because you are so stuck in your own head. And I've had to like cognitively work at being present.
Good word.
It's almost like I went to cognitive behavioral therapy. But I've had to like cognitively work at forcing myself to pay attention to the things that my brain doesn't want to at times. So I'm not surprised that I'm low in agreeableness, but at the same time, it also does tell me a lot about the fact that like, this is why I am, stubborn. This is why I am very like difficult if I wholeheartedly believe in something. So, and it makes a lot of sense for you too, because we've talked about this before. You're a people pleaser. And I think that has such redeeming qualities to be a people pleaser, but at the same time, it can obviously be to your detriment. So this is one thing I want to preface before we get even farther into this. This one score or another does not mean, oh, that's bad, oh, that's good. It's just literally defining who you are.
Yeah.
Like this is not a...
And I also think as you grow and get, as you mature and as you face the trials and things in your life, you change.
Yeah.
Because this is definitely not me a couple years ago. Because this would have been like 100%.
Oh, dude, like my all my scores have been horrible.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I just wanted to preface this of like, this is not like good person, bad person test. This is just telling you based off. And I had to make sure when I was taking the test that I wasn't like projecting what I like want.
But there's so many questions. It's really hard to do that.
Yeah, because I did this in the beginning when I was first trying to figure out mental health issues, and my wife and I were first married, and I convinced myself that I was just ADHD because I had all these ADHD tendencies. So I went in and I took the ADHD test with the intent that I'm going to take this test because I know I am, versus I should have just answered it openly and honestly. Right. So if anybody does go take this test, it's just for you. Like you're not going to have a podcast episode about it like we are. But the more I was trying to be honest with myself, the more I realized that it was a true representation of me. So
awesome.
Okay.
All right. Next one is compassion.
Compassion.
Yeah. It's 38 pages. Page 7. Oh, you don't have pages.
Oh, I just scrolled real quick.
So what'd you get on compassion?
I got 81.
I got 66.
No, honey.
We love each other. So I'm moderately high. You must be extremely high.
It says I'm highly compassionate.
Okay. So
I'm in the 81st percentile.
So you're more loving than me. I'm just joking.
Percentile.
So moderately compassionate people are interested in the problems of other people and other living things. They're concerned about helping other people avoid negative emotion. They make time and do kind things for others, even when doing so may interfere with fulfilling their own needs and interests. They have a noticeably soft side.
Nice. And
other people consider them sympathetic and nice. However, because they are so other-oriented, they may find it difficult to negotiate their own behalf.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And mine says highly compassionate people are much more interested in the problems of other people and other living things, particularly if they are younger or helpless. They are quite concerned about helping other people avoid negative emotion. They make more time to do more kind things for others, even when doing so may interfere with fulfilling their own needs and interests. And they have a remarkably soft side, which that to me was a little bit more redeeming when I read that. Of kind of like, first you're a jerk, but you're going to be really nice about it. But I
Look,
think
Tyson, you're fat.
Yeah.
I love you so much.
But you look great in Dixon's.
Yeah.
But this was one that I can tell you that I had to work on, and it has become more natural for me. Turn your hat back around.
I was like, tell me what you think.
I don't like when your hat's backwards. I'm being blunt. But no, that was one that I had to work on because like I didn't always have compassion because I was so stuck in my own head all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was accepting compassion from other people, I started gleaning that from other people. So that one was kind of surprising to me because I think a lot of times I always say like, oh, I don't care.
You always do that voice.
Yeah. But like, I'm like,
Keep
I
on.
do care.
Get this though, those who are liberal politically somewhat score higher in compassion than conservatives.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And women score generally higher in 61 and men is at a 39. So I'm exactly a woman.
That's so funny. The next one, you're going to love the next one.
Politeness?
Yeah.
I'm 71.
I'm 0. I didn't know you could get a 0. Look, it literally says 0.
100 people are more polite than you.
In a room full of literally, I love that it gives you the percentile. It says you scored a 0 and it has the th, 0th. Percentile for politeness. If you were one of 100 people in a room, you would be in the lower politeness of 99 of the other people in the. And I just is like, no, it's not 99. It's all of them. Bro, I think the part that made me laugh.
You're not even in the room.
I think the part that made me laugh the most is the test didn't know how to handle the results. Instead of saying 0, it said instead of like first, second, third, it said 0th.
It's like we've never had this before.
Guy's a jerk. That one just made me laugh.
I'm 71.
Yeah, that makes sense because you're super nice.
So read the bottom. What does it mean?
Women are higher. See, you're a woman.
Yeah.
Women are higher in politeness than men. The mean percentile for women in general population, women and men, is 59. Men are normally about 41.
So I'm nicer than women.
I'm apparently a demon from the depths of hell because I'm 0.
Well, so moderately polite people, that's me because I'm 71, tend to be differential to authority and generally obedient. They are respectful and do not want to appear pushy. Oh, that's so me.
Sure.
That is so, sure. They are more uncomfortable challenging other people than average. Moderately polite people try to avoid conflict and basically desire to steer clear from confrontations or fights. Yeah. And then there's you.
But see, this is
Let's bring it.
Yeah, this is the thing is, it's not just like low. Mine literally says exceptionally low. It should have just said the lowest.
Yeah. Like, so, if there's a confrontation to be had, I am there.
People who are exceptionally low in politeness challenge and confront authority, which I am definitely that way. And they are not obedient. If they are respectful, it is begrudgingly and will only be manifested towards people who continually both deserve and demand it, which I like that. That makes sense to me. I will show people respect in general, but if I lose that respect for you because you did something to lose that respect, like it's going to take a lot to get it back from me. Fair. That's not a conscious decision. I do have a problem with authority, not like if I get pulled over, I'm screaming at a police officer. Yeah. No, like I have a hard time with somebody telling me to do what to do because then like in my brain, I'm going to be like, first, I'm like, who are you? Second, do you have the right to tell me what to do? And third, shut up. But I mean, this is like, for instance, I say this all the time. I work with my brother. I say I work with my brother because it makes me feel a bit better because he says that. I work for my brother. Uh-huh. He's the owner of the company, but he treats me as though I do help him run it. But I have no problem with, like, I tell him all the time at the end of the day, I was like, this is your company. You signed the paychecks. I will ask you certain things, but I understand where my place is in this because I respect my brother and I love him. But at the same time, there's times where like, it's a weird dynamic when you can punch your boss and your boss can punch you back, right? So it's like, it's give and take, right? I have a hard time when people demand respect and they haven't given me, or they demand authority and they haven't given me a reason why. That's where my like problem with authority comes in. And if you want to get real deep, the government is full of Illuminati. Just kidding.
So stupid.
They're all aliens. But no, that one is that one's pretty funny. So the next one. You want to go first? Or
You can.
You want me to go first because you don't know how to say that.
So true. Conscientiousness.
Conscientiousness. Okay.
No, you can say it.
So I'm 25.
I'm 72.
So I'm low again. So it says this one says moderately low. I'm not exceptionally low.
And I'm moderately high.
Yeah. Sounds like a commercial for like a new experimental medication.
Testosterone.
Like, if you're experiencing moderately high conscientiousness. So it says you are moderately low in conscientiousness, which is a primary dimension of dutiful achievement in the Big Five personality trait specific model. Conscientiousness is a measure of obligation, attention to detail, hard work, persistence, cleanliness, efficiency, and adherence to rules, standards, and processes. Conscientious people implement their plans and establish and maintain order. The two aspects of conscientiousness and industriousness are orderliness. So basically, I have ADHD and I fly by the seat of my pants, but that's where all of the funny content comes from. I feel like I'm orderly in the things I want to be orderly in, though.
Well, moderately conscious people.
Yeah.
People are more likely than average to obtain higher grades in academic settings, which makes sense.
Yeah, you got freaking 5 degrees.
And to make competent administrators and managers, they are likely to have everything in proper place, but are not particularly obsessed with detail, which makes sense because I tell everyone, I'm like, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Sure.
Just
Yeah, no, yeah.
Because I'm like, just start. Your customers will tell you if they like it or not, and then you can adjust from there. Because if you wait till something's perfect, you're never going to start.
You literally were just on the Wage Breakers podcast, and
Yeah.
you said that exact same thing.
Yeah. So that's like, it needs to be good. It needs to be top notch.
Yeah.
But it's never going to be perfect. You're always going to have something that you want to improve or something like that, which makes sense because I'm on my third oil.
Yeah.
They tend to do things by the book. Moderately conscious people are somewhat prone to guilt. What?
Bro, you are riddled with it.
What do you mean?
You're like, I'm going to think about that later while I'm trying to go to sleep.
Yeah, that does happen. They organize their lives so that they have comparatively little to feel guilty about. They are more sensitive than average to shame, to self-disgust, and self-contempt. Boom.
Dude, this is what I'm saying. Of like, this test is like very, very accurate. And it's almost kind of like, I feel like if you and I weren't in the spaces we are mentally, we wouldn't be able to handle some of this stuff.
Individuals who are moderately conscious react comparatively poorly to failure.
Yeah.
Dude,
how many conversations have we had about that recently?
Oh, dude, that's so.
I've been having to remind you that like certain things are not failures; they're just pivots, they're stepping stones. But you've been like beating yourself up over it.
Yeah.
Did you just have an epiphany? Like, did you just have a breakthrough?
Yeah, I think
on
I
the
did.
show, on air.
No, I'm like really like I'm like.
Is that a tear rolling down your
They
cheek?
tend to they believe that hard work and diligence will be rewarded, and they tend to think those who don't succeed deserve their failure. They value hygiene. I own a hygiene company.
Wait, you value hygiene with a men's grooming company?
Yeah. Moral purity and achievement. Now and then they might micromanage, exert too much control. Holy freak!
Just call this the Tyson test.
Dude,
that one nailed you.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
And now,
I love that you're like reading through this for the first time.
I am.
Yeah,
because I'm moderately conscientious with high IQ.
yeah, essentially. So the next one, industriousness. I did that first. You go first.
85.
27.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know what. So basically, it says
just wait until we get to the other ones where I'm super low. And you're super
I'm
high.
moderately low. Again, it says I'm moderately low in industriousness. Industriousness is an aspect of conscientiousness. Does that make sense?
Conscientiousness.
Right? Conscientiousness.
Chipotle.
Yeah. Chipotle. The other aspect of conscientiousness is orderliness. So basically, I'm in the 27th percentile. I'm realizing that 27 means the percentile you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So people who are lower in industriousness are less likely to be successful in school. I passed high school geometry, and because my teacher really liked football, and I played football, and in administrative, it are to be less likely to be successful in school and administrative and managerial positions, particularly if they are less if they're also less intelligent. That's not very nice. But it says you also are very highly intelligent and are likely to be regarded as underachievers. So basically, if you're highly intelligent, but that you don't achieve academic or like even like typical white collar like success, people will view you as less intelligent. But maybe if you are technically a little bit lower on the IQ test, then that maybe makes sense. I think the only managerial role I've ever progressed in was what I'm doing now, which is in the...
Because you don't have to be polite.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's like I was a truck boss of a trucking company, which means I ran all the trucks and the drivers and stuff like that. And now I'm a logistics manager in my brother's company, which is basically means I run the day to day outside of, bills and stuff with and just all the other crazy stuff my brother deals with. But it works for me because I'm driving around all day. I'm out all day. I'm in 57 different spots all day doing a bunch of different stuff. So I stay active. And then it's like, I don't have to be froofy. I can be like, that was dumb. Like, I've heard things. Don't do that. Like, I love one of my truck drivers to death, but I had to have a conversation with him the other day of like, we don't get into physical altercations at stoplights. Those are not the words that I used, but it was a conversation that had to be had. And that's not something that normally happens in an office setting. So I feel like that works well for me.
You were just all excited for that. You're like, oh, yes.
Well, no, I don't want to say too much because I don't know if he listens to the show and I'm not trying to make him feel bad. But it just was like, my brother called me and goes, hey, somebody just posted something on Facebook because obviously our trucks have the names on the side of it. That something happened. And I'm like, oh, well, it can't be. Because there's another trucking company out there that has a very similar name. And I'm like, well, it's got to be so-and-so. I'll call him because I know him. I used to work for him. I'll call him and see if it was one of his guys because he has like 10 times the drivers we do. Nope.
It was your guy.
It was ours. And he's like, to my guy's defense, the other driver spit in his face.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, well, rule number 1, stay in the truck. Problem solved.
Dude.
But you.
Hi. Just hi. Highly industrial people are likely to be successful in school in administrative and managerial positions.
Well, you're a professor.
They value work highly and typically want to be doing something useful. They are dutiful and tend not to put things off. They not often mess things up. They always finish what they start and they do it on schedule.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you are a teacher for the Air Force and you have got freaking 5 degrees. So that makes, and you're 85. Oh, I'm over here dyslexic reading it upside down. It's 58. But
all right.
Orderliness. What are you?
I'm typical or average, 48.
Yeah, I'm 30. We're more closely aligned there.
Yeah. Well, they're typical orderly people are neither particularly disturbed nor disgusted by mess and chaos. I think that's changed I think I used to be high like with mess and situations like that, but 6 kids.
Yeah. I think though, maybe because my brain's a mess. But see, I think that could be I'm sure if we read through that one really deep, we could probably get more in depth, but like, it's not necessarily just physical disorder and mess, right? Because like people just assume that it's like, oh, you've got piles of laundry everywhere and you've got, this stacked up here or whatever. Like, no, I think it's just like, I think it's just when you have like a busy mind, you have other things that you pay more attention to.
Yeah, well, right there it says they are not overly oriented towards detail, rule abiding, or judgmental. Like, we're not judgmental.
I don't judge other people based off of, like, you've seen my truck because I literally
like physical appearance.
Yeah, or like you get in my truck after a busy work week. I'm throwing all my.
By the way, I judge. I just don't.
I know you do. I'm scared. Like I throw all my receipts and like that, or like there's a McDonald's cup on the floor, or there's like tools in the back seat or whatever, and I'm always like, oh, I'm sorry, like I'll just clean that, and I get worried about that. But like if I were to get into someone's car, I'm just kicking stuff out of the way, and I just like scooch right in there. I'm like, it doesn't bother me.
Did you just say scooch?
Scooch.
It just makes me so happy.
Yeah. So,
And you said it with a cool accent.
Scooch.
Scooch.
I'm interested to see how.
That's a shirt. Scooch.
Yeah, scooch. Just scooch right in there.
All right. Extroversion.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be high.
What do you think?
90, 95, higher, 99.
I'm at the top, bro.
I see, and I'm 84, so that makes sense. We're both like
Well,
extroverts.
I feel like you've become more extroverted because I've forced you to be.
You have, and that's no joke. Like Candace is like,
who are you?
Yeah, like yesterday. This sounds really, really feminine.
Sure.
Not feminine. Feminine.
Sure.
True.
It's true.
No, it's just like I'm doing my show on the live. Yeah. And I'm just going through the motions. Like I'm enjoying talking to people because I love talking to people.
Yeah.
And getting to know everyone and talking. And then you call and I'm like,
I feel like a bad friend because I completely forgot you were doing that.
No. But what's funny is I watch it and I recorded it. I'm going to send it to you.
Oh, okay.
And all of a sudden I just light up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, everyone. And I push play.
That's my best friend.
And I'm like, hey, Logan. And you're like,
Well, see, this is the thing is when you answered it, you were like, hey, Logan. And then my brain clicked. I'm like, he's not alone. Okay. I can't say
like
anything.
Everyone in the world can hear you.
Yeah,
right
you're literally
now.
on a YouTube live event and you answer the phone with me on there. Like, that's trust. Either that or like you don't care what I'm about, what I could have potentially said. So, like, it was just, it's funny.
Well, you never say anything super inappropriate unless someone's getting mad at you.
Yeah. Well, no.
While you're fixing a
inappropriate and swear words are completely different things.
Yeah, but the way you said it.
Yeah, that was true. But it just was funny. You're like, you answer the phone. You're like, hi, Logan. And I'm like, oh, wait. That's very
Anyway, but you see me and I'm like, oh,
yeah. You're like,
you do bring that out in me.
Oh, good.
In a good way.
That's funny. So mine says exceptionally high. So it says I'm exceptionally high in extroversion, which is a primary dimension of positive emotion in the Big Five personality test. Since extroversion and introversion are poles that denote the ends of the spectrum of the for this trait, you can also think of yourself as being exceptionally low in introversion. I am not an introvert in the slightest, unless I am emotionally spent and drained. And then I am more like, leave me alone.
I think you and I are exactly. I think that's why you feel like I'm not necessarily high in extroversion, being an extrovert, just due to the fact is I'm always freaking drained.
Yeah. So it says people with exceptionally high levels of extroversion are extremely enthusiastic, talkative, assertive in social situations, and gregarious.
I like that word.
It's a big word.
Gregarious.
I'm going to say it like I know what it means, but I'm going to...
We're just going to scooch over here.
What does gregarious mean? I feel like I know what it means, but I can't explain it.
It's when Greg goes, arr.
And you wonder why people think we're gay.
Hey, Greg, come over here.
Hi, I'm gregarious. I feel like I want to name it.
It's a pirate. It's a gay pirate.
So one thing, one thing I love to do, and I'm sure it bothers some people, is that if their name is normally shortened for something, I will call them the long name.
Yeah, kind of like you do with Tommy.
Yeah. Sometimes, well, every now and then I'll call. I don't do this with Tommy. I probably should, but like Jeff, who came to the event last week, I was like, Jeffrey, how are you? Or like a guy who works for us, his name is Nick. I always call him Nicholas, and he joked, he was like, the only person who ever calls me Nicholas was my mom.
See, and I call him Nikolai.
But see, now from now on, the next Greg.
Really, nothing.
No, that's weird. I mean, it fits your hat. Yeah,
Nikolai.
But from now on, the point I'm getting to is from now on, whenever I get to, you got to turn your head around. Like, whenever I get to talk to Greg next, my buddy Greg. From now on, his name is Greg. But it says they are usually energized by social contact and crave it. They take exceptional pleasure in planning parties, telling jokes, making people laugh, and taking part in community activities. They're extremely likely to have positive memories of the past, high levels of current self-esteem, and it says particularly in the low in neuroticism, and tremendous optimism about the future. Well, that's me.
Yeah.
I literally just told you, I was like, oh, I feel like if we go out to eat, I need to pay for everybody. I think that's like a level of like the party planning. Like you just want to, and when we had Danny on the show.
And I like to pay too.
And when we had Danny on the show, she and her family came over to our house for burgers. I went way too far with like I brought all the fixins. And the next thing you know, we had like so much extra food. Like I made way too much because I was like, really in like this little. I'm not really a party planner, but like when we do have people over, like I'm like, I bought
Will
way too
you
much.
invite me over for some ribs?
Sure, you got to bring the ribs though.
No.
Tim brought the ribs.
Yeah, but you are the party planner. And you make extra.
I'm not really a party planner. I'm just a fly by the seat of my pants guy who likes food. And
You really are, and your wife is the planner,
Mhm.
and that's why I made that joke that one time. That was, but it's just like your wife absolutely loves our family, but you never tell her if we make plans.
Yeah. I'm not a planner. I'm like, I'm at Walmart and I'm kind of like, ooh, and this, ooh, and this, ooh, and this. The next thing I come home, she's like,
Why
it's
did you
six
get?
people. It's 6 people. Like, what? But, yeah, so I think it's kind of cool that we're like meeting in the middle.
Now
Yeah.
enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm.
Your turn.
99.
85. Oh no, not even close to 85. Was that 85?
79.
Hey, that's when I was born.
Cool. So,
I hate you.
exceptionally high in enthusiasm. Again, this is another one where
And
we
I'm
meet
high.
up. Here, you read it. I read the last couple one.
Individuals who are high, so that mine doesn't say exceptionally is high, in enthusiasm are excitable, happy, and easy to get to know. They will talk rapidly about everything, particularly other people. They laugh or
As you're reading it really fast.
They laugh and giggle much more than average. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what you're talking about. They want to be around people and they love parties.
Yeah.
Unless I'm tired.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we go to parties? Well, I guess we've been going to events.
Yeah.
I like the events.
But see, I was so tired at the event that I got home and I'm like, Candace, can't take a nap. Like, I don't take naps.
Oh, after the
Yeah,
extra.
and I slept for 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I've been really stressed this past
Yeah.
week. They don't keep people at a distance, and they keep little private. We have a podcast that just tells everyone everything.
Yeah.
They are positive and
Literally.
optimistic. They warm up quickly to other people. They like and sometimes crave stimulation, excitement, activity, and fun. Enthusiastic people are gregarious.
Oh, there's that word again.
Oh,
Gregory.
encouraging and people loving, and they they are positive about what might happen next. Enthusiasm is not strongly associated with political preference, either conservative or liberal.
Yeah.
Women are higher at 55. For men, it's 45.
Yeah, I'm.
We're like crazy high.
Yeah.
Assertiveness.
What do you think?
99.
Yeah.
81.
I'm like all of the high ones. So,
Seriously.
like,
Just wait. I get really bad.
I feel like that one's pretty self-explanatory. Like assertiveness. Like, I mean, well, yeah. It's funny. Like I always been like, oh yeah, you just tell people straightforward how it is. Like especially when we go back to Vegas and like how blunt you were. But it's funny that I'm higher than you on that. But I feel like we're probably more even keeled when it comes to like. I'm not gonna just like. I guess I will jump in your face.
But I'll tell you how it is. Like the guy at the show, I'm like, "Are you interested?" I'm like, "No," but I'll be kind about it.
You were really not interested because he was like, your packaging or your labels. So
And so I told him the
just
same
was like,
thing.
oh, poop on you. Like, my labels are fine.
But I do tell people how I feel. I'm like,
Yeah.
like I've had some people that we, that are employees, and they'll say something. I'm like, that's not okay. But I'll say it in a nice way so that they feel good about themselves.
So the next
As they should.
three,
we're skipping that. Okay.
are which one? Oh, I think like assertive is pretty straightforward, right? And I kind of want to get on the next couple because I think they're a little bit more on the
Low side for me.
Are they low for you?
Because
they're still fairly.
I never got a 0 though.
Yeah.
Or a 0th.
A 0th. We need to make that a shirt 0th. I'm in the 0th percentile. Neuroticism.
Yes. What are you?
What do you think?
I have no idea.
95.
Guess what I am?
26.
Yes.
Because you printed it out and I could see the paper. So it says, I'm very high in neuroticism, which is a primary dimension of a negative emotion. Neuroticism is a measure of general sensitivity to negative emotions such as pain, sadness, irritability, defensive anger, fear, and anxiety. 2 aspects of neuroticism are withdrawal and vitality. So those are high for me. I think we've talked about that a lot. I think that has a lot to do with my brain chemistry. And we've talked about with how that kind of plays in with bipolar because I get stuck in my fight or flight center.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I get stuck there. And so then that's where you feel the fear, the anxiety, like the pain.
You also fearing.
I do.
Like we'll
That was
talk
deep.
next. Yeah, you do. Like you're so afraid to fill that because you're afraid to go into a place that you used to be that you
Mm-hmm.
pull away from it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that on the next episode because we're gonna talk about breath work and how I like
Yeah,
scared the crap out of me, but then when I finally accepted it,
yeah. But that's what I mean. Is like you fearing.
yeah, fearing.
Yeah, it's true though.
I like that. It's
Mine
true.
is low. People with moderately low levels of neuroticism
Good job, buddy.
tend not to focus on the negative elements, anxieties, or uncertainties of the past. Um, there's one cool thing I did read it. They can have periods of unhappy, anxious, and irritable, particularly when facing serious, sustainable problems, like running a business that's growing. But we're now to the point where like, okay, I need money.
Mm-hmm.
But they generally cope well, don't worry too much, and recover comparatively quick. I do recover quick. They're pretty good at keeping their head in a storm. Facts. And they, did I say facts?
Facts.
Yeah.
F-A-X. Facts.
And they tend not to make mountains out of molehills. They tend to have higher than average levels of self-esteem, particularly when they're also average or above average in extroversion.
I love that you're like, it's almost like this test knows me.
Yeah, they are relatively low at developing anxiety disorders and depression.
Well, that was wrong. Throw it out.
But like you said, I think it's because of like when my daughter's on here, she'll tell her story.
Yeah.
And a lot of things like that. Like it's yeah.
Sure.
Wait, there's one thing hey, let's read and sing a song as I'm looking.
Yeah.
As I'm looking.
Sure. Is this your dead air talk?
Yes.
It might be better just have dead air.
Okay.
You're trying to find something.
Yeah,
you read
it wasn't on this one, so
Okay.
continue. Sorry.
Next one is withdrawal.
You can see mine. That's not fair.
57.
47. We're the same.
Yeah, we're similar. Yeah,
We're typical or average.
typical or average. That's what you just said. So, individuals that are average in withdrawal may occasionally suffer from anticipatory anxiety, but are generally not impeded by it. They can handle new, uncertain, and unexpected, threatening or complex situations quite well. They are not more likely to avoid or withdraw in the face of unknown or unexpected. So we're gonna charge into the storm like a buffalo. We're not gonna like it, but we're gonna do it. And I think that's almost like I think that's a really good trait for an entrepreneur, is that you feel the anxiety of everything, you feel the weight of everything, but you're not gonna let it affect you to the point where you're gonna sit down and just kind of wallow in it.
No, because I do know that there's a lot of people out there that when you get stressed, when you get anxious, when you
shut down.
You shut down.
Oh yeah, and that's nothing to be ashamed about because that's
No,
just
just like I said on
trigger
Wednesday,
response.
I took a 3-hour nap.
Yeah,
because my body just is
you
like
fell asleep at a stoplight.
Yeah, which is scary.
It is very scary. That's why I was like, yes,
yeah,
go nap.
So, but the stress finally just caught up to me.
Yeah.
And my body needed to just say shut
Which
down for a second.
I will go through periods of which I don't have to sleep a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will go through periods where I can't get enough.
Because you're just a woman boy.
I just a growing little boy. I just a little guy. He's growing. But yeah,
That's so dumb.
I need my milk, Mom. I need strong bones.
Volatility.
Volatility. What do you think I am?
High.
How high?
Well, because I know I'm really low, so you're 90? Higher? 99?
Yep.
Again?
Have you not picked up on like how high do you think I am? And I'm giving you the I'm really high eyes.
You're 101.
I'm the 99th.
And guess where I am?
You're like 40s.
Nope, lower.
30s?
Lower.
20s.
Lower.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Like 15.
Yeah, 14.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So, so for me, individuals who are exceptionally high in volatility tend to vary a great deal in their mood. Oh, go figure. Over here with a mood disorder. They can be extremely irritable, react quite strongly to disappointment, frustration, pain, and the threat of social isolation. Isolation, that's not a word. They can lash out and are usually easily annoyed, and they are likely to act out in a verbal express their frustration, disappointment, and irritability. They can be exceptionally easy to stir up and upset. Once angry or irritated, take a comparatively long time to calm down. They may be argumentative and can lose their composure.
I know something. Yeah, you've
Should I
never-
retell the story?
no, I'm just like
When I was like, F you and your baby and your baby truck.
no, not that. Just like what's like just things that have gone in your life this week that you have continually talked about.
Yeah.
And-
See, that's the thing is that like I'm trying. That's me processing it healthier than just letting it explode.
and it doesn't bother me at all.
So I've had the same conversation with you 4 times, 5 times, probably more.
Yeah,
more.
and they're like hour-long conversations.
because that's how I'm processing, because I get stuck in that fight or flight
And I've learned
center. Yeah.
I'm still going to be honest with you and open with you, but I've learned that maybe not today. Which I always just tell you anyway, but like certain things that are happening, well, I can't say it on the air, but we'll talk about it because I do have something for you. Individuals low in validity are stable, can't read the word, and predictable in their moods. They are not irritable. They feel much less disappointment, frustration, pain, and loneliness. People find them easy to get along with, and can often relax around them. They rarely express their frustration, disappointment, and irritability, and appear reasonable. I do express it to you though.
Yeah.
And everyone on.
Yeah, you're like in the entire world.
Even on rare occasions, they become stirred up, angry, upset, angry, or irritated. They can calm down quickly. They're much less argumentative than average and rarely lose their composure.
Yeah. So I feel like, unfortunately, like this is one of those ones that I didn't love reading about myself because.
But you're working on it.
But because it's
and
like.
It's not wrong. I mean, it's not bad.
And it's like, that's the thing is like, if it wasn't a common part of a lot of personalities, then I'd obviously wouldn't be able to test. But that's the thing is like, I think that I love that you're covering it. So
because this is crazy.
I keep peeking at your.
You do.
But for me, that one was kind of a heavy one to read because I didn't like that one because it makes me look like I'm a jerk and makes me look. But I know that like behind closed doors, I do have a lot to work on because like everybody else, I get my frustrations, and because this is going to sound weird the way I'm going to say it, but I don't know another way to say it. Because I like honored those emotions to an unhealthy level for so many years. That is one of the aspects of where I wholeheartedly believe that a mental illness or a mental health concern or just something in general is a learned behavior and a personality trait when it comes to how you react to things.
Ooh, I like that.
I don't like to blame, oh, well, I have these reactions because I'm bipolar. And then it just frees me from any level of responsibility to take care of it. It's more for me, it's like, no. This is a reason why I may experience the higher level of emotion, and naturally, because of the way I have just let it be how it is for so many years, that's how it just manifests itself and it comes out. But the fact that I can recognize that is proof that I have to work on it that much more. And I feel like I when I have like a very high anger moment or frustration moment or whatever, I come out of it a lot faster than I used to. Like when when I get stuck in that, like look this up. Like it's a thing. It's called amygdala hijack. You guys have heard me talk about it before.
Do you think it's because you call me and you talk about it now?
Well, yeah.
No, I'm dead serious.
I mean,
I'm not saying.
There's essentially a handful of people that I will call and talk through things about. My wife. The only reason why I call you a lot during the day is my wife works in elementary school and she can't talk on the phone.
We were good friends.
We are, yeah, but I know that you don't do a lot during the day. I'm just kidding. No, you have a job that you have a lot of, like me, where you have a lot of busy time, but you can be like mentally somewhere else. But
sometimes
actually, I know what days I can't call you, like when you're teaching. But those do help because it's easier for me to talk out my. That's how we've learned that is that I talk out while I'm learning,
and I love that.
So
I love you.
Yeah, but that's why, and it's funny. I reached out to David. We're gonna be working on some additional therapy sessions, and then I'm working with Brock. So it just is like a point in my life where I'm like, okay, I think it's time to reapproach some things, and I've learned a lot of things. Now let's take it to the next step of like, I want to be able to control my emotions and not let my emotions control me. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel that because sometimes I will be in a depressive state for a second, just for a second. And sometimes I let those emotions win and let those outward, whether it be like all of a sudden I'm like, why is this so messy in here?
Yeah, for real.
And you're just like, after like 5 seconds, you're like, what the freak? So I've learned to before I say anything or do anything, I'm going to step outside for a second.
That's
Take a
good.
deep
That's
breath.
super healthy, especially like just being a husband and a father.
Yeah.
Because like I've learned that the explosion moments are unfortunately far more memorable than the sit down and calm talks.
Yeah. No, it's and so I just like I don't want my kids to ever remember that, even though there's sometimes that fails, and I fail at that, but they're very rare.
Yeah.
Very rare, because I know my limitations and I know where I'm at that moment. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
So because
I like that.
Anyway, that's just why. All right, next one. Openness. I'm hiding mine.
Are you high or low?
You guess.
High.
Total opposite.
You're low?
Uh-huh.
Bro, we're on a podcast.
Yeah.
You're in 20s.
Lower.
Really? You're like teens?
Lower.
Dude, you're in the single digits?
Uh-huh.
Wow. 5.
6.
6.
Yeah.
That's your like lowest one.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not in the 0th.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think I am?
80.
Yeah. Higher.
90.
87.
Nice.
See, I like it. Like we're like scoring these like this is a math test. I got an 87. Like, I got 6. But no, obviously I think that's pretty self-explanatory, right? And this is we only got like two left after that. So we're gonna wrap up soon in a second. But I feel like openness is pretty self-explanatory, right?
Yeah. Well, it makes sense because if you look at what we just talked about, volatility, I kind of shut things. I don't tell people a lot of my, like I tell you and I tell people on the podcast because I'm telling you and I'm open. And just like what we did at Connect and Conquer, holy crap, I was way open, very vulnerable, but it's not something that I normally do. That's why I sit here and freaking preach. Be open, be vulnerable, tell your wife, tell your all this kind of stuff. Then it happens to me and I start crying, and next thing I know, I'm apologizing for it. But I preach, don't apologize.
Which funny is John from Here Brothers, Tommy's brother. I was talking to him the other day about just some stuff we're all working on together. And I was talking like, oh yeah, he told me how much he loved your portion. And he said, gosh, he's like, I made a mental note and I forgot to do it, that I needed to go like punch Tyson for apologizing for getting emotional.
Yeah, because like this, it's just not me. Like,
but it is though.
But
now.
it's working. I'm probably higher than a 6 now. I might be a 7 or 8.
So we'll talk about it the next episode, but you're not allowed to say you don't cry anymore.
Oh dude, I bawled.
Yeah, it was good though.
Yeah, but that's what I mean is I didn't realize I was backing up as I was crying, and you're trying to push me forward, and I'm just like, it was hard for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so like, embarrassed is not the right word, but more, not even ashamed, but it's almost ashamed.
So mine says people who have high levels of openness are much more likely than average to be characterized by others as smart, creative, exploratory, intelligent, and visionary. They are highly interested in learning and continuing acquire new abilities and skills. I'll stop it there. I mean, pretty much it's like, I think that's like every content creator likes to probably view themselves as this, but like I've told you before, I'm like, I'm on like a creative block. And I told you, I'm like, we need to have like a full sit down planning session because I will come up with all these ideas. You'll come up with all these ideas. And then it's like gone.
It's true.
I probably forget 80% of the ideas I have because as I'm scrolling Instagram or TikTok looking for different fun things to do, and I'll save it. I'm like, okay, then I'll remember the thought I'm having based off of that reel or that TikTok, and then I come back. I'm like, was it the content? Was it the song? Was it the words? What was it that triggered a thought that I can't remember? So now I'm like, I just need I need an assistant to be like, hey, I had this thought. Write it down,
or just put it in your notes.
Yeah. Siri, I really exhaust Siri. I think I've hit a point on my phone where she's just like, Logan, stop. I've made history and I've frustrated AI assistant.
All right, next one is intellect.
You're obviously very high on this.
No, I'm 28.
Really? You're super smart though.
I don't think that's what it says. Do not confuse the personality aspect of intellect with IQ.
Oh, great. That makes me feel great because I'm high.
Intellect is a measure of interest in abstract ideas. And you know what? The questions were asked during that.
It's about art.
Yeah. And about museums and stuff. I'm like,
you're the guy that looks at like the swirly paint art that people do on social media with like the buckets and the paint. And you're like, that's not art.
100%.
I think it's super intriguing.
Yeah. No, but I do find really interesting the like you go down Fremont Street in Vegas and you'll see the spray cans and how they're making everything like that. Like, oh, that's the earth and that's the moon. I think that's really cool to see, but I'm like, I would never want to.
See, in Vegas, I was too interested in touching everything. You're like looking at everything, and I'm gonna like, ooh, look at that.
You really were every pull. I'm
You're
like,
like,
Logan, stop
there's
touching.
probably syphilis on that.
Stop touching everything.
Like, I've never been to Vegas. You're like, we can
No,
tell.
but really, you were like a little kid, just touching.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, no. So, same thing. Yeah, do not confuse the personality with IQ. Yada yada yada.
But you're smart, man. You don't have to.
So
worry about that.
people high in intellect are quite interested in the ideas of abstract concepts. They enjoy being confronted with novel information, even when it is complex. I think that's probably one of the reasons why I love conspiracy theories.
And this is why I hate it.
Yeah. Because I love the thought that there could be something outside of the normal realm of thinking. Like that intrigues me beyond measure. Like, I love that stuff.
See, right here it says, they're likely to engage in less likely to be engaged in issue-oriented discussions, but they do enjoy idea-centered books, and I love those.
So this is basically saying that, like, people with higher intellect, they find complex, rapidly changing occupations to their liking and will generally do well with them, particularly if they're also high in conscientiousness and low in neuroticism. However, they are substantially less well-suited to be stable, straightforward, and more traditional occupations, which that's so funny because I was an insurance agent for years. It drove me nuts. But I thought that's what I needed to do. It drove me nuts. I sat in a cubicle. It drove me nuts. Literally, it was not great for being mentally unstable at the same time. Now, being able to be in like the industry that I'm in, it helps a lot because there's a lot going on. So, and I see the beauty in dirt. That's it.
Anyway,
you're like moving past that stupid thought.
No, this is my lowest one.
I know. I was gonna say because it has a lot to do with art and aesthetics.
280.
It's funny how we started. We've gone like it's like the spectrum is we're like this. Like I started high and like it's just funny. No, I started low. You started high, and then we've switched places.
Openness to experience.
Yeah, you're like,
no, serious. I'm like, I don't care.
No.
Like, let's just get this done.
No, so basically, yeah. So generally speaking, a person's aesthetic score reflects their creativity. That's why I'm so anal when it comes to like us making content. I'm like, no, do this, say it better, do like.
Yeah, and mine is they tend to be uncommonly stable and conventional, particularly if they are also average or above in consciousness. This is.
People who are high in aesthetics love beauty. They need an outlet for their creative ability, and they have difficulty thriving. They are also they want to surround themselves by art and beautiful crafts. I don't really have art. That's when they like. I guess maybe social media is a little bit more art to me. Like,
100%
I like
is.
the creatives. Like,
100% that's you.
I love but at the same time, dude, you've done different theater events with your kids.
But why did I do it?
Oh, because you're kids. That makes sense.
Because I've been asked to do things since, and my kids aren't doing it right now, and so to me, it's just another thing. Even though I loved it, don't get me wrong, but I think I loved it because I was with my kids, and they became my friends, and so it was more of a social.
Yeah.
But right here it says on mine, creativity tend to be necessary for entrepreneurial success and prove comparative useful at top hierarchies in very conservative occupations. Anyway, basically is saying they tend to be uncommonly stable and conventional. And
so you're not boring.
Yeah.
See, mine is
occupations is banking, accounting, and law.
See, mine is they're imaginative and they are more likely to daydream and reflect on things. They are effective comparatively deeply by music and often by many genres. I literally have
I never listen to music.
I literally have a series on Instagram called the bipolar playlist because I love all types of music. And
that's it. We're totally opposite with that.
Yeah, and
it's true.
And they may be musical or artistic themselves. I play the drums, and I used to literally draw all the time. Like I cartoons.
And my son plays the clarinet, or my daughter plays the clarinet. My son plays the tuba, and I absolutely just like, I have to go to that concert. I don't listen to music. I don't.
Yeah,
not even at the gym.
Mine also says they are like super, super, super attractive. So, I mean, that makes sense.
Mine says extremely sexy
and has weird taste in hats. Like, no, but no, I feel like that was.
We've been going.
I think it was right about an hour.
We're sorry, guys.
No. I think it was fun that we got all the way through.
We're sorry.
Yeah. No, so if you guys
remember, I'm agreeableness. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
hard.
So I really enjoyed that one. I can see why Brock has people do it. So if you guys want to take that one, it's called understandmyself.com. And the point is so that you can understand yourself a little bit better. But I was pleasantly surprised with how spot on some of these were.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily things that you need to work on.
Yeah, and this is not the whole like, oh, take your IQ test.
But
like
this
little...
basically tells you and tells yourself and tells people around you like, hey, this is how I work.
And the cool part is like it's not, none of them should be viewed as like a negative. And I like each one is like has its ups and downs.
I hate music, but I sing all the time to you.
I know it's really weird. It makes me
Because I
uncomfortable.
know you really connect with music. And so I subconsciously sing so that you feel loved.
Sure. One of the degrees you don't have is psychiatry, apparently, or therapy.
It's true.
There's a reach.
I've listened to lots of people.
Sure. He just sounded like Michael Scott when he's like, "Don't ever."
He can delete all
for
this
any reason whatsoever. Like you're just like finding the words. No, but
sometimes I talk and I don't know what I'm going to talk about.
Check out understandmyself.com. I'll put a link on our page. Go take it. Don't send it to us. just explore it yourself, and find ways that you can improve yourself and improve your life.
I kind of want to know what their scores are.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Send it to us. Just not all 38 pages. Maybe just send us the snapshot. So until next week, you guys, check out Mountain Ops. Go through the link page. Check that out.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. It means the world to us. If you have a chance, please give us a 5-star review, as well as write something a little pretty in there so that we know that you know that we know that you care. Anyway, have a great day, guys. See, I can't do it.
Dude, that was good. I like that. You can't redo it without laughing. That was good.